So in the last class, we saw functions and we saw a few other important things like statements like map, filter, lambda, and args and keyword argument, positional argument, all those things. Now, so today we will be seeing pointers, scope, and files. Probably these are some uh, sub. These are small topics. Three small topics. After that, we will start seeing oops, which is a major topic in Python in any language. So yeah, today we will see what is pointers. Okay, so let's see how pointers work differently with different data structure. Okay, so for an integer, I'll be creating a variable and I'll be assigning a value. Here, Python creates an integer 11 in memory and points variable num1, this variable, to that memory. Okay, and when you assign this num1 to num2, here num2 points to the memory num1 points to. It's not that num2 is pointing to num1. So it will look like this. So it will look like this. When you create num1 in a memory, 11 is created and num1 points to it. When you assign num1 to num2, num2 is not pointing to num1. Num2 is pointing to the memory which num1 points to. Clear?
Yes.
So let's see that. So I'll have written some code to explain that the memory address. Okay. The problem is because I didn't run this. I just copy pasted. I'll start running it. Okay. So here num1 and num2 both are having value 11, but the ID of which means it will tell to which memory it is pointing to. The memory address which num1 and num2 points to, both points to the same memory address, which means the memory address which is created to show the value integer 11. Let's now do one thing. I will update num2. Okay. So initially it was pointing to num1. Now it is I'm assigning value 22 to it. Okay. And then we will see. So here the value is reassigned and we just printing this empty statement. Then num1 is 11, num2 is 22. Num1 is pointing to 1407 ending with 752. But num2 is now pointing to a different memory because a new memory is created for saving this integer 22. And num2 is pointing to that new memory. So that's why you see a different memory address. This is nothing but a memory address. Now let's do one thing. So here I will update num1 only. Instead of 11, I'm changing the value to 24. Let's see if it's updating the memory or updating the value inside the memory. So now you see num1, we are updating it to 24. But you see the memory here, it was 752. Previously also it was 752. But now it got assigned to a new memory, 168. Because instead of going and changing, removing 11 and updating 24, how it really works is it creates a new memory called 24, and the pointer from num1 to 11 is now changed to num1 to 24 to the memory where the 24 is saved. So integers in memory is immutable, which means if you place number 11 in a particular place in memory, you cannot change that value in memory. But what you can do is you can point num1 variable to a different integer stored somewhere else in a different memory. But you can't change number in the memory once you create it. So it is like it's created, that's all. You cannot change it. It is immutable. Clear? Any doubts so far?
No,
Okay.
no, no.
So let's go to a different data structure, which is dictionary. Now we saw all about integer. Now let's see about dictionary. Okay. So here again, I'm creating a dictionary one and assigning that dictionary one to dictionary two. Then I'm printing the memory and the values. Okay. So both one and two has same value and they point to the same memory. Now I'm updating dictionary 2, the value alone from 1 to 22. And after dictionary 2 value is updated, let's see what is the value and what is the memory it is pointing to. So when you update dictionary 2, what it does, it is going and updating. Let me show. Initially, we created dictionary 1 and we have value 11. Then we created dictionary 2. We are assigning dictionary 1 to 2, which means they are pointing to the same memory. Now I'm updating dictionary 2. So what happens? It goes and updates where dictionary 2 is pointing to this memory. So if I update something, it goes and updates this 11 to 22. Okay, in the memory, it goes and replaces 11 with 22. That's why you're not changing dictionary 1, but you're changing the value in the memory which dictionary 1 is pointing to. So automatically dictionary 1 value is also getting changed here. So here you see, I just updated dictionary 2, but even dictionary 1 is having 22 and 2 is having 22, but in the same memory. The updation happened in the same memory, unlike creating a new memory in case of integers.
So if we are changing, let's say, some data type of value, let's say it's an integer, we are changing it to string or something. So it will be same or changed.
It will be different. It will behave like what is the data structure you're changing to, data type. If you're changing integer to string, it will behave as a string and it follows the pointers how it works for string. So integers are immutable. In the above case, when you update num2, a new integer is created in memory. But when you update a value, which is a key, okay, so which is a key, you are updating it. You are updating the key, not creating a new memory and value. So this is how dictionary works because you can still go and update the values in the dictionary of memory which has a dictionary value. But the memory which has integer value is immutable. You cannot change it. So you have to, if you want to update, you are going to Python will create a new memory for it.
Ma'am, I have a confusion over here. So we talked about dictionary, and we talked about integer earlier. That
Mm-hmm.
is in a list.
No, it's a plain integer. Is this list?
Okay, okay. I think I'm confused because we're talking about dictionary, so I thought this was like a list. So
No, no, dictionary is pure dictionary.
okay,
So how dictionary works here? Similarly, string list, tuple, and set works. I need not show a different example for them. It works like how dictionary works. It updates in the same memory. But in case of integer, it does create a new memory. It got
okay.
created a new memory here. It, again, when you update the same number, it got created a new memory here. So most probably you will not be involved in this memory address and all. But I just want to create a picture in your mind. How does it work? But it's not very trivial to write your code. Correct? This will not may play a major role when you write your code and run the functionality. So if you're clear with pointers, we can go to a new topic called scope. Are we clear with pointers?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So scope. So when you create a variable name in Python, the name is stored in a namespace, the variable. Now we saw the values getting stored in the memory, right? Similarly, there is something called namespace. The name is stored there. Variable names always have a scope. The scope determines the visibility of the variable name to other parts of your code. Okay. For example, um, so I have X. One is inside the method, the other is outside the method. What do you think this X will return? What do you think this print and this print would return?
I think print x will return the x is equal to 25, so it'll print
Mm-hmm.
25
Mm-hmm.
and print printer. So printer is like a uh, function that we're giving, and
Mm-hmm.
x is equal to 50 return x, so it will print 50.
Okay, cool. Let's see. So yeah, when you call X, it goes and picks this value. When you call printer, it sees what is there inside the printer and it prints a particular value. Okay. So this is very interesting. But how does Python know which X you are referring to in your code? This is where the idea of scope comes in. Okay. Python has a set of rules it follows to decide what variable, such as X in this case, you are referring in your code. Okay. So let's see what are the rules and how it determines which X to pick, which value of X to pick in this case. The idea of scope in your code is very important to understand in order to properly assign and call the variable name. You wanted to call this X, but when you're calling the printer, it is returning, sorry, you wanted to call this X, but when you're calling printer, you're imagining that it will print 25 because this is defined outside, something like that, but you are getting a different output. So just to understand how does it picks and how do you have to call properly and assign properly we will see based on the rules. Okay, 1 minute. So these are the few rules. So name assignment will create or change local names by default. So um, there are few things, local and global. Okay. So what is local? Something which is there only inside some piece of code, which is local. So this X is local to printer only. If you call it outside the printer, apart from printer, you're calling it, it will not return this X is equal to 50. Even though I am calling X, I wanted this X is equal to 50, it will not print. Because initially I'm giving 25, but later I'm changing to 50. Why can't this X give me 50? It will not, because this is very local and this is global. This is not defined inside any particular method or class, something. It's available outside. So this is global. And so like it will check it has four scopes. One is local, global, and enclosing function. For example, you're having another function, and from there you're calling this function. Okay, and that function also has X, and this function also has X. That kind of scenario you call enclosing function. Okay, and built-in is all the built-in data, like built-in method, like something like that. Okay, which we are not creating, which is already available. And so this is the order. So local, which is created inside a definition keyword or lambda, and not declared global in that function. Okay, and enclosing function, this I will explain. So it's like you have multiple function, one function calling another. Okay, and global, we saw the name assigned at the top level of the module. Okay, and that's not declared inside the definition, inside the defined keyword. Okay, and built-in is like we have few range is a built-in data, right? It will give me some integers. So when you have range, then when you're calling using range to generate a number, then it is built in. Okay. So let's get good understanding. So for that, I will show a piece of code. So I will just comment this out. Local enclosing function. Okay. So outside we have now we have f is equal to x to the power of 2. Here we are using lambda. So it is like similar to creating a function, right? So this x is also local because it is defined inside some lambda or def keyword. Now we have a one function and we have another inner function. Okay. So this is called enclosing function. The outer function is called enclosing because it enclosing another function inside it. I have.
Excuse
Uh-huh.
me, ma'am. Sorry, I have a question over here. Can you repeat the lambda part? I think I'm lost over there.
Okay. So this X is local or global?
The sex is global.
Why is it global?
It's out, right?
No. So if you're why you use lambda when you
I
use lambda?
I think I've not understood that.
Okay, lambda we have seen right in the last few classes. Why we go for lambda? Anybody else can answer this? Okay. So when you want to create a function on the flow, you do not want to save the function. You're not going to call the function repeatedly. But on ad hoc basis, you want to create a function and immediately print, see the output. It's not having a big logic, very simple logic. Then you go for lambda. Lambda is nothing but you're creating a function like how you're creating a function using def keyword. Clear?
Got it.
Yeah, as Madhu said, it's a nameless function because you're not defining some name and assigning it to that name. But on the fly, you're creating a ad hoc nameless function. So this is also a function. When you have a x inside a function, is it local or global?
It's local.
Correct. So it is local to this function, right? So x is
Yes.
local here. Okay. And now we will see another example of enclosing function. This greet is enclosing function because it is closing some function. It is having inside it is having another function. Okay. So that's why it's called enclosing function, which is an outer function. So here I have a name which is local for greet, but it is global for hello, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
It's outside hello.
Okay, cool. And this name is local for hello, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So here you're calling this name, you're going to print this Anu only because you're going to, it is inside again the hello, you're going to print it. Then you're going to call hello, then you're going to call greet. When you call greet, nothing but again you will be calling this, right? So let's see. So hello Anu is printed. Clear? I do not have any print statement inside greet directly. So that's why you're not seeing Sammy or anything. If I write one more print statement here, it will definitely print Sammy. But now this hello Anu, this is clear. Why is it printing Anu here?
Yes.
We just
It's
have one print statement and it is inside hello, and hello will print only has a name Anu and it will be printing only Anu. Okay. So I'll show another example. So here, what would be what all it will print here when I run this? Just go through it carefully.
So this will print the mm, this should print that x is okay, but we are assigning okay. Mm,
Okay, first tell me this X is
x is
local or
50.
global?
It's a global.
This X1.
It's a local.
Okay, so I'm printing differently.
Global first. Yeah.
One I'm printing before I declare X. Another I'm printing after I declare this X. So what will be
Right.
printed in this case and what will be printed in this case?
First, this will print 50, then 2.
Okay, okay.
Uh,
So when I call this function, it will go and execute this function. It will first print this, which will print 50, and you are telling it will print 2. Okay. After calling this function, I have another print statement. What will this print?
this should print, okay, yeah, 50. It's a global one.
Okay, let's see that. So here you are printing a global one, though you are printing it from the function, and here you are printing local. So why do you print global here? Because when you call function and pass X, usually what you do when you call any function, while declaring it will be like parameter, like named parameter, only the name will be there. But when you really call it, you will be giving a value inside it, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Usually you give the value. Here I'm not giving the value because I'm passing X. I'm not. So here when I give X, it is referring to the memory which has X. So in the memory, there is something called X. So for example, I will give print only. So here I can call add. So when I call add, what I usually give, I give 2 comma 3. Uh, where is the print? Okay. What happened? So when I call it, I pass the parameter 2 comma 3. Or otherwise, what I can do? I can assign A and B. I can pass A and B here. Correct?
Right.
Now what would be the output?
Uh, should be same because it should refer to the value only.
Yeah, what would be the output when 3 and 5 are added together?
So same 5. Oh, sorry, 8.
Okay. So here I'm having a value assigned and then I'm using that variable. So this is what happening here. When you call function of X, if this X is not there, it will definitely throw an error. Okay. In this case, okay, already the X got created inside the memory. That's why maybe I'll do this. Okay, why? So it is going to throw an error because it haven't created anything called y because this is commented, this line is not run. It is searching for y is not there. Similarly, when x is there, because this is already created in the memory which we previously ran, right? So what happens, it goes and checks if anything is there for x, and it was able to find a variable x which is pointing to 50. That 50 is passed here, okay? And that 50 is passed here, and that 50 is what you're printing here. X is 50, the global one. Then you're printing x is equal to 2, so you're printing the local one. When you have a local one, only that will get affected immediately, okay? So you're updating it and you're printing x is equal to 2. This is outside the function, which is global, like, right, which is not inside any function. So when you do it outside, you're calling the global one, which is nothing but 50. So you're changing this 50. What I'm trying to say is when you change x locally, it will not affect globally. So here you shouldn't question like, I mean, it's a valid question that we have updated x is equal to 2. And even that we proved using this print statement. Why here the x is still showing 50? Because this is a local variable, a different variable created only for local use. And when you come outside of it, you have no reference to local. You have no access to this local. You do not know that particular X is created when you come outside of it. Clear? So Amit, whatever you said is correct. I'm just explaining why we have this output. That's all.
Sure.
So let's see another example. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be the first print statement. Then you call the function. When you call function, it will call all these three print, and then you have another print. Okay. So you totally will be having 5 print statement. Just tell me how these all will be, what all the values it will print. Come on, guys. Why you guys are not speaking up? I know you all know the answer.
So this will print 50 first.
This one. Okay. And when you call this function, what this will print?
It's a statement only,
Okay. Sorry.
and
What this will print?
this will print. We have not assigned anything, so this will print again 50.
Okay. And what this will print?
Uh, this will print 2.
Okay. I have okay, what this will print?
Okay, this will print 50 outside of function.
So yeah, whatever
2.
you said is correct, but yeah, this one is printing 2. I will explain why it is printing 2. But I have one question. So here you said it's not updated. When you call the statement, the X is not updated.
Yeah,
So
because X is updated later. I mean,
correct. Yeah,
before.
your statement is valid. But my question is, do we always have access to the global variable inside a function? Do we always have that option to access the global variable? Here we are calling X, yeah, it's not updated, but we do not have any local X at all. Okay, global X, it's a valid point, but explain me, Maldi. It's the right answer. Because of global X, we are able to print 50 here. But my question is very simple. Can we access global variables inside the local variables, always inside a local, inside some function? Always can we access a global variable?
Yeah, I think we can, because
Yes.
it's a
Okay.
global and it is available to all. And
Hmm.
until unless we are not assigning any other value, we can.
Okay. So here I changed all the value of X to Y. Okay. So here now this Y should be able to access this 50, right? But it's
Mm,
throwing me an error. So what is the error?
That's a function. Func
Uh, Unbound local error. Okay, it is here. The problem is with Y. It is not able to access local variable Y. What it is telling, you're calling a function. Okay, you're actually it printed the first one. Okay, then it is trying to print second function. So we are calling a function. Then it is also printing this. Okay, so you see it is printing. But when you are accessing this line, it is telling there is no local variable Y. Cannot access local variable Y. Why I now suddenly see this issue? I have global Y. Why do I see this issue now suddenly?
you need to assign it to the some local variable. To use the global, you need to assign it to the local one.
Okay, let me do one thing. If in that case, I will
We need
create
to
X is
declare
equal.
a global Y inside the function.
Yeah,
But
the
why?
way you are.
Why do I have to do that? What does it help me to do, this global X? So, okay. So
Inside
you are.
function, we can access the global variable.
But if I don't give, can I not access the global variable inside a function?
You need to
You got.
create some local to use in a particular function.
Okay. So my question was, can you use a global variable directly inside the function? The answer is no. You cannot do it. So that's why here I'm seeing an issue. So you said I have to assign it, right? So
Right.
I'm creating a new variable x and I'm assigning this y, okay? And here, let me call only x, which has y value assigned to it. Again, I'm seeing issue. So here, it doesn't understand what is this y.
Yes.
So this assignment is not an issue. You cannot access a global directly like that, okay? So um, when I give global x, I'm just telling there is something called x, which is very global. You have in the same code, go and access it. So I'm giving the permission to access the global here. In the above case, I'm still, this 50 is getting printed here, right? Even though it was not assigned, nothing is X is there, correct? Before this statement, there was no X or anything. It directly is able to access this global. How? Because it's not accessing this global. We are passing that 50 here. We are passing that 50. So whatever is passed into the function is getting printed. We are not accessing directly the global variable. We do not have that access. Since the 50 is passed inside the function, we are able to get it. The x got 50 inside the function. Clear? Or is it confusing?
So every time we wanted to access any global, so we just need to declare
Yeah,
that.
true. So we can do in two way. One is like you are passing it, okay? You're passing the global value, okay? The other
Hmm.
is you have to give global x. So you are telling there is something called global x, access it. Otherwise, the global is global, but the local cannot directly go and access it. Clear?
Yeah.
So I have another question. Okay, 1 minute. Here I passed 50. I'm printing 50. Then I'm changing x is equal to 2. 2 is getting printed, which tells that this change worked properly. Then I have another print statement outside later after calling the function I have. So this print is after calling the function. The function has altered x is equal to 2. Why it's still printing 50 here?
Because this print is after the function.
Hmm.
I mean, it's on the it's
Outside,
yeah,
global.
it's outside. Yeah, it's outside. It's not in the function.
Then why in this case this is not giving me 50 but giving me 2? This is not right, correct? Yes or no?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but
now
you
it's
didn't
confusing.
understand
Yeah,
why it is
yeah,
printing
yeah,
in 2.
exactly,
Correct. I will
exactly.
explain that part. Mal, do you have any answer to this question? Why it is printing 2?
Because as per my okay, as per my
Yeah.
understanding,
What you
there should
understood
two
is
should not.
correct. Correct. I will explain why. Okay. So here, when you're here, you're just passing the value, correct? You do not know there is something called x which is global, correct? This function do not know. This x do not know there is something called x which is global, correct?
Yeah.
Does it know? It just got 50 via this function, like how we are passing in the add a and b. Instead of a, you can just pass 2 also. Okay. I can pass 5 also. It will print 5 and b is 5. It will print 10, correct? So when you're passing 5, this x is assigned to this 5, correct?
Yes.
And this y is assigned to b is 5, so 5 is assigned to y, and you are giving. So similarly, When you pass 50, the 50 is assigned to this x initially, then it passed to this x, correct?
Yes.
It do not know there is something called global. And when you create x is equal to 2 here, it is creating a new memory, new variable. It has the same name, true, but it creates a new memory which is very local to function x alone, and it's updating too. Okay, so this doesn't update this 50 at all. It's maybe the name wise x and x, but in real world it is like x and this is like y, because a new memory created for this x, a new variable, new memory, a pointer is established, which is very local to this function. Outside you go, it will not know that new memory got created. And when you create this, it do not know that there is something called x already, which is pointing to 50. There is another variable. It do not know this here, and it creates a new memory. And you're calling that x here. And when you come outside the function, this new memory, whatever you created, is vanished. Kind of the outside world will not know it. Okay. So when you access x for the outside world, there is only one variable x and it's pointing to 50. Did you get this? Is it clear, Amit?
Yes. I mean, little. I got little confused. So,
Let me do one thing.
can we
When we
print the?
pass when we pass argument or parameter, that time it will access the global variable,
No,
right?
it will not access the global variable. It just accesses the value. That's all. So
So
when
yeah,
you pass 5, this uh, x is assigned to 5, right?
yes,
What
ma'am.
happens?
I got
X
it.
is assigned to 5. So it just you're just assigning a value. It's not that you are assigning a it doesn't know anything about global or local. You are it is got just trying to get the value and store it into X. Similarly, here it may be a global variable, but this 50 is passed here, correct? Instead
Yes.
of directly giving 50, I'm creating a variable and then I'm passing. Like instead of directly giving 5 here, I'm creating a variable and then I'm passing. As soon as the 5 is so when this add is called, what it does, it goes and checks what is B. Okay. When this line is executed, it will go and check what is B. B is 5. So it replaces. And then only it calls this function. And when it calls it, it doesn't know there is a variable called B here because B is not in the picture. Because before calling it only, it replaced.
Yes.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Ah, so it replaced and it got value. So just after you call this line, so it will go and call this and it will pass value x is equal to 5. It will become like this x is equal to y and y is equal to 5. It assigns the value. And then when you print it, x and 5 are x and y are 5. So 5 plus 5, it prints. Okay, this is how it happens. It doesn't know any variable because only values are passed. Similarly, when function x is this line is called, it will see what is x. Okay, we have it in memory 50. So it will update it to 50 and then it goes and calls. So it just got 50. That's all. It doesn't know that there is a variable which is x, which is global. Okay. So here this x is nothing but like how you are accessing x here. Like here previously we had x and y, right? So it will be like x is equal to 50. And now this X is like you got the input, some input, like how you're getting from the user, you got some input and you're printing that input. That's all. Here it doesn't know there is a global and it's not accessing any global. It just got the input and it's printing it. Okay. So then what you're doing here, you're just passing the value. It's not creating any variable and all here. Okay. You're just passing. For your understanding, I'm giving x is equal to 50. Okay. So you're just passing the value. That value is captured and you're printing it. Okay. And later what you're doing, you're creating x is equal to 2. Here, it is creating a new memory and giving and pointing that variable name X to that new memory, and you're printing it here. Okay. And later what you're doing, you're exiting the function and you're going here. This X do not know the memory which got created inside def, because which is very local. Okay. Like if you are like hosting a flag inside your room, outside people cannot see, only you can see. Outside people will tell there is no flag inside this house. Okay, that's all they know. But when you're hosting a flag on some on the market area, everybody can see it. Correct? Something like that. So here you have X which is outside. So this X knows that there is a variable X equal to 50 and it prints it here. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So now, so the one point what I'm trying to prove is you cannot directly access the global at all. Here, you're passing the 50. That's why you're able to access the 50. Here, you're not accessing the global. Don't imagine that you're accessing the global. The function does not know that there is something called global. Here, you're able to access because you're telling global X, which means you are letting the function to refer to the memory of X and 50. So you're telling global X, so it understand, okay, there is some global variable and the variable name is X and it points to this particular memory and the memory holds 50 inside it. Okay. Now, when you create X is equal to 2. Here, when you do X is equal to 2, I said a new memory got created, 3464, correct? Because it tries to see if there is any X already there. No, because I do not have access to a global variable. So it is not having any, it's not able to view this. It cannot access this. Okay. So here it creates a new variable and assigns value, all this. Then you have a new memory. Okay. But here what it does, since you are referring global X, it understands there is something called global. And when you update, it goes and check if there is a X already available. Yes, there is an X. So, but it is global. It understands there is an X and it is global. It goes and updated that only. It's not creating a new memory here. So here you are updating the global one. That's why even outside the function, the X is 50 because you are updating this X only. Because you got access to the global. Generally you will not have access, but here by giving global X, you are telling there is something called global. I mean, there is something called variable X, which is global. Go get access for it. You are giving access by giving this statement. Now I will try to print a memory. So initially I'm calling the first print statement will be this. When I call X, I'm also trying to print the memory of X, which is nothing but this line. Okay. And then I'm calling the function. So here I got access to the global. I'm printing ID of X, which means this X. Okay. Then again, I'm printing the value. Then again, I'm trying to print the memory. Then I'm changing the value. Here, I'm not creating a new one. I'm changing. So this memory ID will tell us whether we are creating or changing. Here, you see, there's a different memory because you're creating a new memory and you're pointing this X to it. It can differentiate this X and this X. It will be like A and B for it. It's not X and X for it for Python, okay? Because global and local are different for it. It depends on the memory, right? It has a new memory. It will go and access to a different address. This is a different address. This is a different address. The name might be same. There might be one Anu in Bangalore, one Anu in Chennai. The name might be same, but both are different people. It knows the difference based on the address. Okay. Similarly, so I'm trying to print address here and I'm trying to print even coming outside, I'm trying to print. Okay. So let's run this. Okay, here it is x x. What is the problem? Okay, sorry, I went to the wrong thing. Okay, so here we printed memory and all, right? So now let's see. Initially, before calling this, our memory is 5000, which is nothing but when you created a memory got created. So you are printing this value is printed. Then you are trying to print this X memory, which is 5000, and you're going inside the function. I'm trying to print memory here because I'm accessing this global. Again, the memory is 5000. Okay. And I'm printing this statement. Then I'm printing this statement, and I'm printing this X, which is having access to the 50. Then again, I'm printing 5000. Okay. So when X is equal to 2, it is telling ran function. Okay. This line got affect. Logically, it got executed. Then it is executing this line. Okay. And now you see X points to 64. Why we see new memory? Because you have seen when num1 is 24, when num1 is 11, the memory is 752. When num1 is 24, you're just changing the same num, but you know it is immutable. So what it does, it goes and creates a new memory. Correct? Now it is 168, but it instead of removing 11 and updating it 24, it's just pointing from 11 to 24. It created new memory. So 11 is here, for example, and it has a memory. Instead of pointing it, it created a new memory 24 here, and it started pointing instead of erasing the 11 and replacing it 24, because the integer memory is immutable. Okay. But in this case, you see this X, global X, here it got new memory, but later when you come outside, it still has this old memory also, because they are two different memory. Okay. But yeah, let's come here. So when you updated this X is equal to 2, instead of pointing to this 5000, it pointed to a new memory 464. Okay. And now it doesn't know that there is some address called 5000 at all. It just moved the pointer from here to here. Okay. This X is pointing to a new memory here. This is completely vanished, this memory. It is not having any idea what is there. Okay. Because we are not pointing it. Now you are updating the global only. But instead of updating the value for integer, it creates a new memory. New memory got created and the value got printed. Memory is printed. And now after the function got executed successfully, it goes to this line and it's again printing X is equal to 2. You will see 2 because you are updating the global only here. Okay. You are not creating a new for local. And again, here you see the memory is the same 464. Because the global only initially pointed to this and later it pointed to this. There is no local at all here. Clear?
Yeah,
Clear?
so since we are updating global, so that's I mean that is the reason we are printing 2.
Printing 2, correct. So I have another way to show that. So this globals, this function will tell me what all the global variable. This function is to check what are the current local and global variable. Okay. Okay, it will look like this only, a dictionary kind of thing. Okay, key and value. So inside that, what I'm interested in, so num11. Okay, it is referring to everything I have created previously. Okay, okay, what I will do, I'll print this in the VS Code. It has many X in the list. It is printing from everything. So let's see. Where is project Python? So here, let's see. Control F. Okay. So here we printed everything. Okay. And when you see the global, we have only one X. Okay. You can ignore all this. Okay. This is something which is not visible to us, but it is visible to Python. Ignore all this. Okay. But only one thing what I'm interested is at the end. What all the variable and what all the function. Okay. Function, this particular function func is showed at this address. Okay. We are not interested in this. We are interested only in X. There is only one global variable, which is X. Okay. Similarly, to understand locals, I will print this. Okay. We have the same, we are have showing the same X is equal to, because we are using that inside some local. That's all. The same X only we are pointing to. Okay. Same X we are telling it is also local. But this is the only global variable we have. Only one single variable we have. Okay. Now let me go to a different example. Which was that? Okay. So this is our previous one. We are just passing 50. Instead of 50, I'll give X. Okay. We are passing this X 50 here inside it. And we are printing the address here. We are printing the address here. We are printing the address here everywhere. We will see. Okay. Okay. So the same thing I have copy pasted. Additionally, I'm having global and local. Okay. Let's run this. Okay, I haven't saved it. Okay, it's still printing the previous one. Okay. Now you see the global is only 1, X is equal to 50. This X is equal to 2 is not global now, because which is very local. Okay. And this local I shouldn't run here. I should be running it here. To access local, you should be a local to access the local. Okay. Let me save that. Local, you have a local variable X, which is X is equal to 2, which is local. Okay. And you have another global variable X, X is equal to 50. This particular global. Clear? They are two different variables. Clear? One is visible only inside local, another is visible in outside the local. I mean in global. Clear?
Yes.
Maybe I will show another example. Guys, is it late for you guys? You wanted to leave or you can stay for 5 more minutes? Otherwise, we can continue on Monday. I do not want to hold you guys.
I think 5 minutes is fine.
Okay. So I'm now creating a new, I will, so this is a very big function, very big code. Okay. Okay. So initially I'm having a variable outside, which is not inside Lambda or def, which means it's a global, correct? And I'm having a function. Why I have given outer function? Because I have something called inner function. Just for clarity, I'm naming it as a outer function. And here I'm having y, okay? And inner function, I have z, okay? And you're accessing z here, you're accessing y, which is in the enclosing. You're accessing the global x, this x, okay? And I'm just built in. I'm just calling a built-in function length. Okay, that's all. It just will print 5 because we have 5 characters here. And I'm calling inner function here. Okay. Only when you call a function, the function will be called, right? Here you are just defining a defining it. You're saving a in a memory, but you're not executing. So when line number 24 done, I mean ran, it will go and call everything and print everything. Okay. And I have another function, which is also a inner function. Here I'm telling non-local y, okay? And I am modifying it, the y, whatever I have here, okay? And here I'm calling this function so that after, and I'm printing y here, okay? So let me, okay. This is one outer function, right? Similarly, we have another outer function. What it does, it is trying to get this global x and you're trying to modify it. Okay, when you give global x, you will still have access to the memory of this x, right? You're not here, you're not creating in line number 35, you're not creating a new variable, but you're accessing this variable only, outside variable, because you're having access, because you are given the permission. You're telling global x, you can access the global x and you're modifying it. Okay, this part, is it clear, which we already seen? Is this clear, guys? Line number 9 and line number 32 to 35, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. And we have some built-in function where we are calling length, okay? And you are calling this modify global here. Otherwise, you will not, nothing will get executed, right? You are calling outer function here, okay? And then at the end, you are calling the built-in also, okay? But before running this built-in, you already have one more built-in here, length function, okay? Let's execute this. But I want answer from you guys. After seeing answer, it will be confusing why it got, okay? So this all defined creator. Only here, first time outer function is called, okay? When outer function is called, where is outer function? It will go and locate, okay. Okay, this is all okay. And this memory got created. And now here inner function is called. When inner function is called, this all will get printed. So what will be the value when it prints?
Value of what? The which we have.
Yeah, from line number 18 to 25 will be first printed when you execute this program.
Mhm.
See
So
here, you have this function, and this function. You have 3 function, and first time you're calling outer function, okay? It goes to outer function and execute this.
yes,
It creates memory for y, it creates memory for this inner function. Then
right.
inner function is called. When it's called, this all will get executed, right? What will be printed? How the output will be?
So it's like local variable. I am local, and then enclosing y. Mhm. So y is like y is the outer function. So we are not defining anything. I'm not sure if it is called.
Okay, I will remove all the tags. Yeah, now you tell me.
And global. There's a global one. The one
Hmm.
X is equal to I am global.
Hmm. So this
So
all will get
we are not.
printed.
Uh, we did not. Actually, we are not. We have not called this one actually.
Which one?
X,
Which
the
line?
global one. Line 9. Actually, we are not calling in the 21. We have
Okay.
to either we need to pass it or we need to.
Hmm. Okay,
I
fine.
mean,
And here, line number 22.
it's this will print a length. I mean, as you are
Okay.
telling.
Okay.
20 and
Not that.
21
Oh,
giving
sorry,
error.
21.
Will give error.
21.
20 and
Okay.
20.
Okay. This is fine. Then what it does, after calling this all get printed, then a new function got created. Okay. And you're calling that function. Okay. Now what will happen? When it's calling this function, here nothing is there to print, but the logic is applied. When you call line number 31, what will happen?
This modify enclosing is like another function,
Mhm.
and here we are giving this modify enclosing. I mean, the
It
value
will
of
print.
y.
Yeah, it
Yes,
will
sir.
print.
Initially it was this, and we are trying to update it. Will this be updated successfully?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And okay, what is the next line we have? Okay, that's all. This whole function, outer function got executed. We just call that outer function. It got executed. It will return back to this line 41. Okay. Now 42. It goes here. So it does this, okay? And it trying to modify the global X. And this line number 43 will get printed. What will happen here?
So
It will print a modified
modified
global.
global.
Okay, modified global. And it has another function. What it will print here?
Built-in scope. So this should,
Enter.
okay, length of Python.
Hmm. Yeah. Length of Python, what will be the answer?
5.
5. Yeah.
How come 5?
Start with 0. No.
No. Length is like
Oh,
it will
6.
tell you the
Sorry, ma'am.
number of
Sorry.
character.
6.
Index
6.
will start with 0. When you access by
Okay.
index, you have to give x of
6, ma'am.
0. Okay. 6.
Okay. Yeah, because I start with 0, I thought it's 0, 1, 2,
No.
3,
Length
so
will
it's 5.
always give the number of characters only. Only when index.
Okay.
So everything you said correct only. But line number 21, you said it will throw an error. But it's not throwing error. It is giving I am global, which is we are accessing this. I will explain this tomorrow, a Monday, why it's not throwing error. How come? Because there is a different set of rules we have in Python. I will explain that rules. Okay. So for whatever we have seen here is correct. Okay. Whatever we are learned here, I guess you understood everything. So there is no confusion except, so that's why you answered everything properly here. Only this line I will explain. There is another set of rules which Python will follow. We can see on Monday because it
Okay.
will take more time. Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, you guys all now expert in scope and pointers
Yeah, I think I
because
need to go through this video once.
okay.
Yeah.
If we have any notes, we can go through again this topic, but I
Sure.
want all you all guys to be expert in this topic, in any topic we go through. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Go through it again. We will meet on Monday. And also I got assignment output only from Vidya. She mailed me. I will check your assignment output with you. Yesterday, I returned back to Bangalore and I had a lot of backlog in office work, so I couldn't open. Tomorrow, I will reply you back with your output. Okay. Similarly, I'm expecting everybody, because you had a long break, we didn't had any classes, you'd have got some time to do your assignment. Otherwise, do it over weekend. Send me at least by my Sunday night or Sunday evening, because I have to go through it. I have to see why it, I mean, whether it is right or wrong. I have to reply you back. Okay. Then if you have
Okay.
any doubts, we can discuss in common in on Monday's class. But I want everybody's individual assignment to send to me. Okay. Email, I'll give this email ID. Okay, this is my email ID. Please do not do it over WhatsApp, because I'll open and execute it directly and I'll see. I cannot do it over mobile. Send it to me to my email. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sunitya. Hi, Sunit. You can talk now. You're not able to talk. Rando. What is rando? Random, is it? Let me stop the recording.